Before the race in Shanghai even started, Sha'Carri Richardson posted a video on her Instagram that went everywhere. She looked into the camera and said it plainly. "If I don't feel my best, then I'm the only thing that can stop me." Then Shericka Jackson ran 22.07 seconds and stopped her anyway. The final finishing order at the Shanghai Diamond League on May 16th went like this. Jackson crossed first in 22.07. Shaunae Miller Uibo of the Bahamas finished second in 22.26. Anavia Battle took third in 22.40, and Sha'Carri Richardson settled for fourth place in 22.42, with Amy Hunt of Great Britain fifth behind her. That is not just a race result. That is a statement from one of the most dangerous women in the history of the 200 meters, delivered in the very first outdoor race of her season, against one of the deepest sprint fields assembled all year. And the sprinting world is paying close attention. Let us start with what Shericka Jackson actually did in that race, because the number alone does not capture it. Coming out of the bend, Jackson was the picture of poise, with Miller Uibo and Richardson right behind her. But Jackson controlled the home straight completely, never looking threatened from the moment she hit the final 100 meters. That is what separates her from almost everyone else over this distance. It is not just the speed, it is the composure. She does not press, she does not panic. She just runs her own race and lets the clock decide. In what was her fastest season opener in the 200 meters since running 21.98 in Rabat in 2023, the same year she won her second consecutive world title over the half lap, Jackson ran 22.7 with a wind reading of 0.3 meters per second, her second world title. In 2023, the year she ran 21.41 seconds in Budapest to make herself the second fastest woman over 200 meters in the entire history of the event. That is the frame you need to understand what is happening here. Jackson is not chasing a career. She already has one of the greatest careers in the history of women's sprinting. She is chasing something else. She is chasing the kind of form she had in 2023, and on Saturday in Shanghai, she took her first big step toward it. Now here is where it gets even more interesting for Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson's head-to-head record against Shericka Jackson in the 200 meters is now 0 wins from 4 meetings. 0. Every single time these two women have stood on the same start line over that distance, Jackson has crossed the finish line first. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern. And it is a pattern that raises serious questions about Richardson's ability to beat Jackson specifically when it matters most over the longer sprint. Think about what Richardson brought into Shanghai. She had been in brilliant form. Just weeks earlier, she became only the third woman in the 144-year history of Australia's iconic Stawell gift to win the race from scratch, running 13.15 seconds and chasing down a field that had a significant head start. She was sharp, she was confident. And she had made clear to anyone who would listen that 2026 was going to be a legendary season for her. Speaking ahead of the new season, Richardson described her 2026 expectations this way. "I have a feeling that it is going to be something legendary. Not legendary just on the track, but legendary as the woman that I am designed to be. I am super excited to take on the challenge to do that in front of the world." That is the kind of statement that raises the stakes going into every single race. And in Shanghai, the stage was enormous. Richardson had teamed up with training partner and reigning world 100 meters and 200 meters champion, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, to clock a world-leading 41.70 in a relay earlier in the season, and she carried that momentum all the way to the China Textile City Sports Center. But momentum does not guarantee results. And Richardson, running 22.42, finished nearly 0.4 of a second behind Jackson. Her 22.42 was well off her personal best of 21.92 seconds, which she recorded at the 2023 World Championships in Budapest. That gap between where she ran and where she is capable of running tells a clear story. She is not there yet. Not over 200 meters. Not against this woman, than Jackson. After the race, she reflected on her performance with the quiet satisfaction of someone who knows exactly where they are headed. She said she only raced at Xiamen last year instead of Shanghai because she was managing her way back from injury, and that in 2024 she had simply wanted to enjoy her time on the track while getting healthy. "I did well tonight," she said. "I got here on Thursday at the hotel after a long trip. It sets me up well for the rest of the season. It is a good feeling. It was my fastest opener since 2022 or 2023, so to be able to run this quickly in 2026, I am happy. That casual delivery is almost more unsettling than a dramatic celebration. She is not shocked by 22.07. She is satisfied by it. She sees it as a beginning, not a peak. To understand why all of this matters so deeply, you have to go back to Budapest 2023. That World Athletics Championships meeting is where this rivalry became the defining story of women's sprinting. The 100-meter final delivered one of the most stunning results in recent championship history. Richardson, racing from the outside lane 9, produced a powerful finish to beat a field that included Jackson, who took silver, and the legendary Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Richardson's victory broke Jamaica's streak of 4 consecutive world 100-meter titles, and she did it with a championship record time of 10.65 seconds. It was one of the great championship moments of the decade. Richardson had gone from controversy and setbacks to standing on top of the podium at the biggest stage in track and field. The sprinting world was electric, but then came the 200 meters. 2 days later, same stadium. And the story flipped completely. Jackson ran what was described as a nearly flawless race, defending her 200-meter title with her historic time of 21.41 seconds, bringing herself agonizingly close to Florence Griffith Joyner's world record of 21.34 from the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Richardson finished third in a personal best of 21.92. Jackson took the race by half a second. It was not close. That Budapest week is the perfect summary of what this rivalry actually is. 2 elite athletes, 2 completely different strengths. One running the 100 with flash and explosive power off the blocks, the other running the 200 with controlled aggression, and a finishing stride that very few women alive can match. And every time they line up over the half lap specifically, Jackson has had the answer. Richardson herself, speaking after the Shanghai race, had an honest take on what competition with Jackson and the Jamaican sprinters means to her. She said rivalry is a necessary part of sport. You have to have that person or that country that you know is going to bring their A game every time they see you. Every single time we line up against each other, it is just like, okay, I know you came here to play. I came here to play. So who is going to walk away with the win today? That is a healthy mindset, and it is the right mindset. Because the season is long, and Shanghai is only the first chapter. The women's 200-meter final at the World Athletics Ultimate Championship in Budapest is scheduled for Sunday, September 13th, the final evening of the championship. The prize pool for the entire event is a record-setting $10 million, with every individual event winner taking home $150,000. That is the destination. That is where this rivalry lands. The same city where Jackson ran 21.41. The same city where Richardson stood on top of the 100-meter podium. The Ultimate Championship will bring together world champions, Olympic champions, Diamond League winners, and the year's best performers for what World Athletics is calling an epic clash of titans across 3 sessions in September.